Thanks for joining us on National Focus. I'm Kerdisha St. Louis. Coming up, a plumbing program underway in the community of Grandbay, a medical ship to provide healthcare services to the Dominican public, and villagers of Bagatelle to benefit from storm drains. Details of our headline stories and more after this.
It is time to break the silence. Child abuse is one secret you should not keep. For more information on child abuse or to report suspected cases on child abuse, contact the Social Welfare Division on 33 Great Marlborough Street or call 266-3020 or 266-3080.
Wash your hands. I am Adora Luce, health educator from the Ministry of Health. Proper hand washing protects against the spread of many common illnesses and germs. Wash your hands often with soap and water, or you may use a hand sanitizer. Remember, clean hands save lives. Protect yourself.
A message from the Health Promotion of the Ministry of Health.
Thanks for staying with us. A plumbing program is hoped to empower young people in the Grandbay constituency. The program was launched in Grandbay on Thursday and is being undertaken by the Youth Development Division. Funding for the program is made possible through constituency empowerment, headed by the Honorable Minister and Parliamentary Representative for the Grandbay constituency, Justina Charles. It's a twofold program, primarily to give 10 young people the theory of plumbing, and when that is complete, they will undertake the plumbing work at washroom facilities that will be constructed in Grandbay, all being funded through constituency empowerment.
The government of Dominica normally makes money available to the constituencies. As the minister responsible for constituency empowerment, because that is one of my portfolio, constituency empowerment, $2 million was made available from government through my ministry. So that $2 million was sent to my ministry, and we had to disburse it and send to assist all the constituencies, as many as possible. Now, out of that, the PAL reps decide how they utilize that money. So you could draw up your plan, what you're going to do, who's going to benefit from it, and we send it for approval by the Minister of Finance, who is the Prime Minister. Now, I just thought that recognizing the level of unemployment with our young people in Grandbay, and it's not just in Grandbay, that's a national, and that's a regional, and that's a world concern where a lot of our young people are unemployed. I just thought one of the things that we could do is to try to see how we can empower our people, because that money is usually made available for many programs. We can decide whether we want to do roads, whether we want to do washrooms, whether we want to do develop sports facilities, whether we want to work with fishermen, and all of those things that various PAL reps will identify as the area of priority. But for me in Grandbay, I recognize that plumbing skill, electrical wiring, there are some areas that are deficient in the constituency where we need people who are skilled in those areas.
7 washrooms will be constructed with $76,000 from the funds, and the $29,000 will go towards the plumbing program.
What we hope to do is to use you as the young people, after you've done the theory, to go out there and to learn hands-on experience, to learn how to cut the concrete, how to lay the pipes, how to do the connections, all of those kinds of things, to ensure that at the end the person is comfortable, it is usable, and you feel gratified, you feel satisfied that yes, I was able to do that. You feel good at the end of it and say, yes, I can help you to flush your toilet. I made it possible for you as young men.
The program is hoped to benefit both the trainees and the persons receiving the washroom facilities.
It is an opportunity to empower you, to make you be able to gain a skill that you can gain employment. Because we cannot always employ everybody. And sometimes we walk on the street and the young men say, nurse, I want a job. This is an opportunity for you to get yourself jobs. Because I know in the community very often that people want to do certain things, but they cannot find a good plumber. So now is your opportunity to shine. So you develop that skill, you learn that skill, you develop it further. And so if you go out there and you do the best, because while you are doing the training, Mr. David will be assessing you. As you said, if opportunities come up, then he can say, you know, I can recommend Mr. Eugene. I can recommend Miss Angol to you, because he was impressed with the way that you did what you were doing during the training.
The Honorable Parliamentary Representative hopes that with the success of the program, other modules such as electrical wiring and the culinary arts can be made available through constituency empowerment.
It is not always making a road or fixing the playing field or, you know, doing all of those kinds of things. It is empowering the people in the constituency so that they can stand on their own and gain some form of employment to take care of themselves and their family and to make Grandbay a better place.
One of the trainees is looking forward to learning the skill.
I did the construction training, which I learned a lot from it. I learned how to put my blocks, tie my steel, bend my steel, you know, do etc., which I can do something at the end of the day for myself. Well, I am hoping that at the end of it, that I graduate, get a good, get my certificate that I accomplished a mission.
The program will last for 3 months. In more news, Dominicans are to benefit from healthcare services thanks to a U.S. medical ship. The United States Navy Comfort Ship will visit Dominica from July 27th to August 7th and provide a number of services to Dominicans, including surgeries and dental work, among others. Chief Medical Officer Dr. J.V. Johnson says the primary healthcare services are planning for the visit.
We have gone ahead and begun screening of our patients in basically 3 categories. In terms of surgical patients, in fact, all of these surgeries which are going to take place are going to take place on board the boat. We have also are going to be screening patients in terms of our dental patients and non-surgical and non-dental patients. In terms of the services which the U.S. Comfort is bringing to Dominica, quite a lot of services which are going to be rendered to the entire population of Dominica in terms of pediatrics, dental care, surgery, internal medicine, dermatology, urology, cardiology, emergency medicine, ophthalmology, specific women health care with regards to obstetrics and gynecology, plastic surgery, oral and maxillofacial surgery, orthopedic surgery, pediatrics surgery.
The medical ship provides healthcare and humanitarian services to selective countries. One of the ship's most recent trips was to Jamaica. Consultants have already begun screening patients to receive surgery on board the ship.
Surgical candidates. These are the candidates who are encouraged to enroll with their district nurses and doctors. And this will result in one collective patient list per district. So our surgical candidates will therefore be forwarded for pre-screening by our local consultants at the Princess Margaret Hospital prior to being screened by the U.S. Navy Comfort Ship personnel aboard the actual ship. And all other persons, the non-surgical persons then, they are therefore encouraged to await the day of screening by the U.S. Navy Comfort Ship, which will occur at the designated medical sites.
In more news, villagers of Bagatelle will benefit from storm drains thanks to the combined efforts of the Dominica Association of Local Community Authorities, DALCA, the Embassy of Japan, the Global Environment Furnace Jeff Small Grants Program, and the Baffin Point Development Committee. At the site visit on July 1st, Local Government Commissioner and Chairperson of the Baffin Point Development Committee, John Fountain, told attendees that the drains are critical because of the structure of the community.
Those of you who came through this road, you realize there are a number of houses downstream. And if you go further downstream, we have some public buildings, the health center, the school, the recreation ground, the council office. There are a number of public buildings, bakery and other things that are churches as well that downstream. And so this drain is very important.
The drains will assist with slope stabilization and drainage of runoff water. Vincian George represented the Dominica Association of Local Community Authorities. She encouraged villagers to take ownership of the drains.
We would like to send a message to the Bagatelle community, especially the council, not only the council but the residents on a whole, to take ownership of the drain, make it their part of their community service or their normal working service, clean the drain, take ownership, because it's a good initiative, and many of the other communities would wish they would have had some sort of implementation within their community. I know some of them do, but it's a very good initiative right now, and as we know, we are mitigating against climate change, and we want to continue in such a way. Maybe develop more projects in other communities that will really mitigate against climate change.
National Disaster Coordinator Don Corriette notes that the Office of Disaster Management encourages projects of this nature as it aids in national security.
Projects like this is very welcome by the Office of Disaster Management, simply because it protects life, it protects property, and it adds to sustainability for production, agriculture, and other related activities. So we are very happy to be amongst not only the pioneers of the project, but the youth that will see similar type projects being implemented, not only around your community, but around your school. Because climate change is real.
You're watching National Focus. Still to come, the Royal Bank of Canada donates to the HIV response unit. Stay with us.
Think water, think life. Water refreshes, restores, cleans, and enhances growth. Potable water is a benchmark for development. DOWASCO is serious about its mandate to ensure easy access to potable water island-wide and provide sewage services for a cleaner environment. DOWASCO is your water and sewage company.
Welcome back. The HIV/AIDS Response Unit has received a kind donation thanks to the generosity of one institution in the private sector. On Wednesday, as part of its community outreach program, the Royal Bank of Canada contributed a number of food items to the food bank of the National AIDS Response Unit. Coordinator of the unit, Nurse Julie Frampton, was happy to receive the contribution, especially at this time.
It's really timely, this contribution to the food bank of the National AIDS program. We're really grateful. Most persons know at this time it's end of financial year in the government system, and this food bank is very sparse. So this donation is timely, and we're very pleased, and the clients will be pleased, those that will benefit from this donation.
Coordinator of the bank's outreach program, Bianca Payne, says the bank is grateful for the opportunity to give back to the community. She says the initiative is simply about reaching out.
This was a bank initiative. We had a promotion, 1 million acts of good, and this was staff way of basically just appreciating persons and giving back to the community. It's all about love and togetherness. RBC, it's all about you, and we're making it all about them as well.
And the Discover Dominica Authority is continuing to target the French West Indies to gain visitor arrivals. This year, the DDA used the 6th edition of Dominica's Jazz and Creole as a way to entice the French market to Dominica shores. The event featured 2 French artists as part of the lineup.
Of course, when we travel to the French markets, as we have done this summer, particularly to do mall exhibitions, we take that information along and try to push the fact that this is happening at ports of entry for everybody coming in. We make sure that they understand what's happening, and we push the fact that jazz was happening over the Pentecost weekend.
He says the French market is critical for Dominica.
When you put Guadeloupe and Martinique together, and if you were to add metropolitan France, then the French market would be the largest market. Certainly they play a major role in making the Caribbean the major market for Dominica. And so that is why we continue to market in the French territories, Guadeloupe, Martinique primarily, and also in metropolitan France. Again, the issue of access is somewhat eased by the fact that you have the ferry, although there are issues that we need to work out in terms of scheduling, convenient scheduling that can facilitate in-transit visitation from people coming from metropolitan France. But for the residents of Guadeloupe and Martinique, certainly the ferry is a convenient mode of transportation.
And that's the English news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is 2 courts in 1? The CCJ has 2 functions: an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non moins, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, ministre Constituency Empowerment, en collaboration avec la division jeunesse, lancé un programme où la jeunesse communauté Grandbay qui est engagée en bas un programme plumbing. Honorable Justina Charles, c'est ministre Constituency Empowerment et puis membre parlement de Grandbay.
De temps en temps, gouvernement a mis l'argent en constituency empowerment pour nous faire petit programme en community. So gouvernement mettait $2,000 en ministère mon responsable constituency empowerment. Avec ça nous fait nous c'est pal reps là dit nous qui programme yo télé faire so nous baillons l'argent. Pour moi en Grandbay nous qu'a fait plusieurs bitins mais yon dit ces bitins là nous fait bon matin là nous commencer en plumbing module avec jeunes garçons avec une jeune femme en parmi où là 10 monde qui était supposé là mais aujourd'hui nous teni 8 dio là où là yo que apprendre comment pour mettre glow en dedans case comment pour courir pipe là comment pour mettre privy mettre sink to face basin c'est vite ça là travail plumbing yo ka faire so aujourd'hui là nous launch programme là avec ça mon fait mon voyer l'agence là avec youth division mon travail avec youth division because mon ça youth division a coutumé faire ce programme ça là avec ces jeunes moun yo ka travailler avec
Ministre Charles ka garder devant ces jeunesses là bénéficier du programme ça là.
Nous voyons presque $20,000 by Youth Division so yo ka gagner matio pour ces jeunes moun apprendre servir pour yo apprendre avec nous ka payer ces instructors là avec yo même ces jeunes moun qui taper en petit l'argent en petit stipend quand yo ka aller tous les jours pour apprendre un skill. So aujourd'hui ça c'est ça nous launch avec mon really voudoué ces jeunes moun prendre sérieux so là nous fini yo ni on skill là yo ça travail yo ça acheter travail pour yo même faire because nous savons autant jeunes monde ka dit comment yo pas ni travail pour faire so avec moi ça plumbing avec electrical wiring tiling ça c'est skills monde besoin ka demander pour tous les jours so avec des trois jeunes monde intéressant d'idée so nous commencer module ça là.
Alors nouvelle division jeunesse qui a conduit programme Somme pour l'année 2015. Parole celle-là sorti hors officier division là Julian Paquet.
Tous les années youth division ni on Somme computer course ay may pour négion hors niveau ni hors nani de 9 pour 15 9 to 15 donc y so sou ka l'école secondaire apprendre faire computer nous les Sénégalais ont venir faire ça avec nous ka faire présent nous ka moutio pour faire arts and crafts ça ka fait pain bagaille ça fait pour vendre ni qui apprendre faire tie dye ka fait tout qualité design tie dye avec nous ka apprendre au computer sur qui tape ça pour ça là c'est internet nous ba nous ka qui étiquette en présent bagaille c'est supposé faire parfait les internet avec biti comme ça avec nous field trip nous social activities comment c'est son c'est nous pour bailler un bon temps mais nous pour also bailler ça fait pour faire intelligent yo lever So nous avons un programme qui a commencé, Soma Computer Programme, qui a commencé le 6 juillet avec le 14 août.
Paquet qu'a encouragé tout négrion pour prendre l'avantage programme là.
Son petit prix $50, un mois, $50. Pour toutes ces barrières, ça nous a fait un négrion. So nous encourager tout le monde, maman, papa, grand-maman, on est négrion à Caillou, 9 to 15, voyo, youth division. Nous avons un programme dans les matins, de 9h pour midi, et nous avons l'après-midi, de pour 4h.
Et puis finalement, division coopérative qui a observé samedi comme journée coopérative internationale. Parole celle-là, sortie officier de division là, René Toussaint.
En tous les années, nous savons, International Cooperative Alliance International, qui a désigné le premier samedi en juillet pour journée coopérative internationale. Pour commémorer journée ça là, c'est pour ça que nous avons une activité là pour whole semaine là. Les journées ça là, ministère pour les affaires coopératives qui on adresse dans les radios et TV avec ça qui commémorer journée là. Mais aussi le vendredi, ministère là qui visité cooperative fisheries tout partout Dominique. So nous connaissons grand visite ministre là qui est passé là. Regardez comment habiter qu'à marcher, ça fait pour aider yo habiter comme ça.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole. Pour à présent, non moins c'est McPherson St. Luce. Au revoir.
Tips to help you stick to your budget coming up next.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is 2 courts in 1? The CCJ has 2 functions, an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
You're watching GIS.
It's one thing to write up a budget, it's another to actually stick to your plans. In order to keep your financial life in check, here's one thing you can do to ensure that you keep to your budget. Use cash instead of cards and take out enough cash to last 1 week at a time. It's much easier to turn down a $60 pair of shoes when it would take the last of your week's cash than it is when you just have to swipe a card. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GISNewsDominica, and follow our Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I'm Kerdisha. Thanks for watching and do join us again next time on National Focus.